Breaking main character moment, Andrew Tate has been arrested for alleged human trafficking, showing beta males all over the world that the true alpha move is going to prison for life. My name is Mick Wild, and this is a breaking main character of the internet episode. I just couldn't wait until next Wednesday to bring you this because it's pressing. It needs to be shared with all of you. And I'm actually doing this amidst the holiday break. I'm back in Minnesota because the internet doesn't go on holiday, so I unfortunately can't either. I'm actually really doing this as a service to you all so that you don't have to explain this to your parents and you can just show them this podcast instead. So let's get right to it. Andrew Tate, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the situation going on, but 2022 really needed one last hurrah, and Andrew Tate decided to step up to the plate. On December 29th, 2022, Andrew Tate and his brother, who really just looks like if Andrew Tate went to Turkey and got hair plugs, were both arrested and detained in Romania and charged with human trafficking and forming an organized crime group. Serious stuff. So now, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, I would consider yourself lucky. I also assume that you're not one of the many popular podcasts that had him on as a guest. But let me just give you a brief rundown of who Andrew Tate is, if you're not actually familiar. Andrew Tate is a former professional kickboxer turned professional misogynist, if you can believe that is a true profession. It really is. He sells a masterclass on quite literally being the worst person in all of history, potentially. He's a running candidate for sure. He started this company called Hustlers University where he sells these master classes. He's really made a name for himself for being an authority on masculinity, which is kind of surprising considering he looks like that gay uncle from White Lotus. In his $49.99 a month masterclass, he promises to share his wisdom with other men to help them escape the matrix. I guess the matrix in this case is being in a healthy relationship with the opposite sex. I don't know. He's managed to market himself and his masterclass using a well-known hack that's quite literally 4 hacks. It's basically when someone doesn't have enough talent to stand on alone, they will use super inflammatory and out-of-pocket commentary as a way to propel their virality, because the algorithm doesn't really care if it's good engagement or bad engagement. So Andrew Tate knows that if he says something super outlandish, super off, insane, that people are going to engage with it negatively. They're going to be like, "You're dumb. We hate you. Go die." Essentially. But it doesn't matter because the algorithm doesn't care. The algorithm sees that as engagement, sees people liking, interacting with this video, and continues to propel it. And so it's this super, like I said, hack trick, in my opinion. And so here are just a few things that he has said. Amidst the Harvey Weinstein scandal, he said, or during the trial, I believe, he tweeted, "If you put yourself in a position to be raped, you must bear some responsibility. I'm not saying it's okay you got raped, but with sexual assault, they want to put zero blame on the victim, zero blame on the victim whatsoever." So naturally, people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Get a grip." But he also said that after moving to Romania, he said that, "I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption is far more accessible," adding that he enjoys being able to buy off cops and other law enforcement officials so that they do not infringe upon his business operations and personal habits, which I guess his personal habits are allegedly human trafficking, I guess, but it didn't work because he's still arrested for alleged human trafficking. But then he's also said that the Western society is degraded. There is very much the Western society angers me, the Western world, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't fuck with the Western world. Romania is actually part of Western society. It's in NATO. It's part of the EU. And that's probably why he was arrested for alleged human trafficking. But he's also said that, because he used to live in the UK, and he also has said that during these police investigations and abuse in the UK. He was under similar investigations for similar crimes. It's understood that he left the UK for Romania, explaining that one of the reasons for this move was because it was easier to evade rape charges. This is probably 40% of the reason he moved there, he says in one of his videos. But he's not a rapist. He just likes the idea of being able and free to do whatever he wants. So now that you're all up to speed on Andrew Tate and his just like really, really stellar contributions to society, let's talk about what actually led to his arrest. So prior to all of this, Andrew Tate was banned from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even Uber. And I didn't even know that you could really get banned from Uber. I think the worst thing that has happened to me on Uber is that I was hysterically crying in the back of an Uber and the driver poorly rated me, which I think is fair, and I understand his decision to do that. But like, how do you get fully banned? And the reason he was fully banned from all of these social media sites is because he has just this disgusting, misogynistic, threatening, and overall vile content that he is always spewing out everywhere. Unfortunately, Elon Musk recently bought Twitter, you may recall, and he bought Twitter to uphold the integrity of the First Amendment, and thus reinstated, and it was necessary to uphold the First Amendment to reinstate Andrew Tate on Twitter, so that Andrew Tate could utilize his First Amendment right to tweet things such as, "Christmas sees a lot of erratic and irresponsible driving. Everybody please be extra careful on the roads. As you know, lots of men drink too much alcohol and are forced to let their wives drive." Or in another tweet, he said, "Why are all of these business women and CEO chicks married to very rich men? It's almost as if the man pays for their entire lives and their businesses are hobby bullshit." So like, thank God that Elon released him from his finger shackles so that he could tweet these just like really, really important tweets for the First Amendment as a whole. I mean, I don't know if the First Amendment could even still be standing if it were not for Andrew Tate being able to tweet these just necessary things. So thank you, Elon. And I actually think that we may, for real, owe Elon a thank you, but not for unbanning Andrew Tate, but for allowing him to incriminate himself on Twitter, because that's essentially exactly what happened. You see, on December 28th, on totally unprovoked, out of the blue, nothing that could have possibly caused this, Andrew Tate decided to attack the climate justice advocate Greta Thunberg. She's 19 years old. So thus far, her entire life has actually been dedicated to protesting inaction on climate change. And so the tweet itself said, "Hello, Greta. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti is that how that car name is pronounced? Bugatti has a something car man shit. My 2 Ferrari 812 oh my God, I don't care about any of this. That's just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." So this was like clearly trying to bait Greta. And what I think is funny about this is like he referenced having 33 cars as if like that meant that he's creating 33 times the emission to piss off Greta, who again is 19 years old. But unless he has like 32 friends that we're unaware of, he probably drives the same amount of cars as you and I drive in one day, which is likely one. So it's probably the same amount of emissions, but I digress. He really just wanted, like, it's just another one of his, like, viral, like, low-grade stunts that he tried to pull. He's attacking a teenager, and also Greta's pretty well known for, like, her clapbacks and sort of witty little comebacks, of like climate change deniers and people that really like poke and egg her. So thus Greta replied with, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Queen shit. And her reply received 3.5 million likes, and this is when I like put this all together. It probably is more now. Over 650,000 retweets, and it's at the time I am doing this, it's the number 5, the 5th most liked tweet of all time on Twitter. So safe to say she ratioed that man into fucking oblivion. Like if he thinks he's living outside of the Matrix, that ratio put him right back fucking in. And of course, like naturally, Twitter lost their goddamn minds over this. Like just so many good tweets and memes. Like I always say, this is the best time to be on Twitter when we can all collectively band together against an evil man that we all hate. It's fun. I mean, it's just like everyone throwing punches. It's like when if like you're jumping someone and everyone is kicking and punching. It's like that, but like not literal, and you're not like actually inflicting pain. But his first response to Greta's tweet, his first response to the tweet was, "How dare you? How fucking dare you?" But in a bid to get even more attention, which by the way, like him wanting all of this attention is such a like female thing. Like that's my job. Like my job is to get all the attention in the room. Like what are you doing that? It's a trait reserved for women, okay? We're gatekeeping. We're gatekeeping getting attention. It's also just like really weird to film a video response where he's like theatrically smoking the cigar. He's in this like red, bright, rich person robe, and is like showing his bare chest. And he really just looks like a decadent little naked mole rat. It's kind of funny. Like, why are you showing like Greta your nipple? She's 19, you weirdo. But in the actual video itself, like the content itself is what he's trying to do. He's like attempting to try to break down her logic for like the clapback. And she's 19, he's 36. He's saying, oh, well, the logic doesn't make sense because I asked for her email. So she's saying her email is the, what was it? The smalldickenergy@getalife.com. So why would that be her email address? And it's just like, dude, she's fucking 19 years old and you are 36 years old. Why do you look like a bald, naked mole rat right now? Making this about a 19-year-old. But anywho, and then in this video, he starts to ask someone off camera to bring him this pizza. And so and this is where it all goes wrong. He also says, oh, I'm not going to be recycling this pizza box. Of course, But yeah, because the pizza box in Andrew Tate's video was a Romanian pizza brand, people believe that this pizza box actually tipped off Romanian authorities to Tate actually being in Romania, allowing them to go forward with this raid and arrest him for these allegations. So on December 29th, a Romanian outlet claimed that Andrew Tate's home in Pipera, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Pipera, had been raided by Romanian police in relation to the abduction of 2 girls. And so the Directorate of Investigation, Organized Crime, and Terrorism conducted the raid on the Tate residence less than 24 hours after Tate posted his video in response to Greta. And they were successful in applying for a 30-day hold of the influencer at a detention center. So Tate, and I assume his brother, will be held for 30 days at a detention center. And Andrew Tate got what he wanted, I guess. He's the final main character of 2022. He's kind of like if Dan Bilzerian and R. Kelly had a baby, and then that baby sold master classes on being a reprehensible human being. And I think like perhaps it would be better for us to refer to him as main criminal of the internet or main alleged human trafficker of the internet, but it doesn't really have the same ring to it, I guess. But I would say, like, as you know, I think we like to keep it pretty lighthearted here, But these are like super, super serious allegations, meaning that are very, very real victims in this. And so I think I'd be remiss to say that this is solely like a laughing matter, because it really isn't. And what he's accused of doing is really, really serious and really fucking evil. And I hope that there is justice served for those victims, and that they can return home safely. I really do. And I do want to end on a positive note and say that I think a really good part of this story is that our queen and savior, Greta, kind of had the final say, and sending, and also like kind of potentially, I don't think it's been confirmed that the pizza boxes actually were like part of the raid and the arrest, and um, what led to all of that. I think that is kind of speculation, but it would be very funny if that were true. But it's funny that she could potentially have played a role in that. And she even got the last word, and this is what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes. Queen, Stan, like, you gotta love Greta. Again, 19 years old, having to deal with 36-year-old incel idiots online. I mean, she handled it with poise and grace. You can't expect anything else from a 19-year-old, but we stand her. We stand her here. This is a Greta Stan podcast. And I will say with that, the 2020 main character of the internet season comes to an end. And I will say goodnight. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday in the first episode for the new year.